Okay, so let's start today's session. And today we'll discuss about OSPF in detail. Yesterday we discussed the routing with the RIP and EIGRP, right? Before that, we also discussed the dynamic routing concept, the different like AD value, parameters, matrix, and types of routing. Okay, so today we'll discuss about OSP. And also remember, I told you that RIP is now not using that much, and EIGRP you will find more detail in the CCNP level. But still, basic idea I gave you how to configure, what is the command, and what is the different compared to RIP. So let's understand about OSPF. So here, few point you need to remember, like what? Yesterday I told you, AD value of OSPF is 110. Metric is what? Hop count, sorry, cost. And cost, if you want to count, then what I told you? Reference bandwidth divided by interface bandwidth. And what kind of protocol OSPF is? Link state routing protocol. Okay. So these few things we already discussed yesterday. But now let's understand more deeper way. One thing here, that is area. Let's say in the RIP, what I told you that we have simple command router RIP. And according that, we have only simple networking command to advertise. Network and network ID. That means whatever different router I have in my company or in different branch, then all are start communicating each other. Let's say I want dividation, like a group. I want multiple network can communicate, but only branch one. And multiple network communicate each other with only branch two. But branch one not able to communicate branch two, and branch two not able to communicate branch one. Getting my point? Let's say I have multiple department in one branch, like sales, marketing, accounting, HR, admin. So these 5 departments, let's say, want to talk each other. So we require routing. But that kind of same 5 department we have in branch 2, that 5 also want to communicate each other. But branch 1 5 network, I don't want that communicate with branch 2, and branch 2 5 network not coming to branch 1. For that, we have grouping system, which is known as a AS, autonomous system, right? I told you IGP, EGP concept, internal gateway protocol, IGP for one autonomous system, external for different, right? And that kind of option we don't have in RIP. Wherever you run the RIP, that all are start communicating together. But in the EIGR, we told you there is a AS number. Same here we have area concept. Able to understand simple logic? Here it is known as the area. Why not the same autonomous system now? Because slight different concept. Let's say if you want exactly what I told you as an example, branch 1 and branch 2 not communicate, then we'll use EIGRP and different AS number. But suppose I want that different branch can communicate, but via centralized management. Any other branch want to communicate, they all travel via one server or one HO. Branch 1 directly not communicate branch 2, but branch 1 via server or via head office, headquarter, then communicate branch 2. I want centralized thing. Then we have area. Getting it? I can explain with the topology. This is, let's say, one branch. This is another branch. And inside that I have multiple router, multiple network. Here also multiple router we have. So if I want, this can communicate each other. this kind of some connection, let's say we have. So internally, if I want to communicate them, one AS number or one area. Here also internal, they want to communicate one AS number or one area. Okay. Now I want totally separation. Then AS number is good. But I want that they can communicate only via head office. Then what? Then we'll use area number. From this one router connected to HO, from this one router connected to HO, and HO here also there on multiple different router. And via that, this branch one can communicate. Getting it? So if I want this kind of hierarchical structure, one can handle other. Or you can say centralized communication. Then we'll use OSPF and area concept. Any confusion? That's why here not the AS number name, but area number. And as I told you here, H1 everything. So in this area, remember that area 0 known as a backbone area. Two different area not able to communicate directly, but can communicate with area 0 or through area 0. Able to understand? Area number 5 cannot communicate area number 7. But area 5 can communicate area 0. And let's say area 7 also communicate with area 0. Then 5 and 7 via area 0 can communicate. Directly not. Here I take the 1 and 2 example. Let's say same what I just told. Let's say this is the area number 5. And this is the area number 7. Even let's say if I connect direct cable, it will not change the exchange router. It will not communicate. Even there is a network or cable. Getting it? This will not work. But area 5 can communicate area 0. And suppose area 7 also here communicating area 0, then via this all can communicate. Okay? You can say this is the OSPF area hierarchical concept. Any other area can communicate area 0. That means area 0 also able to communicate with anyone. But except the area 0, any other two area directly not communicate. Via area 0 communicate. Clear? Main logic. That's why area 0 is backbone area. Otherwise, we can use area 1, 2, 3. Here we have same possibility. 32-bit. In background number also what? Directly, indirectly having some size. Like we have mobile number, then size is what? 10 digit. So area 0 is what total value is 0, but possibility again till 429 crore. It is your choice what area number you want to select. But for centralized management, compulsory area 0 should be there. Okay. Then another thing here we need to understand, that is DR-BDR concept. What is that? Let's say within a one network, if there are multiple routers, here you can see, I connect one router with that one cable. So indirectly, if you try to understand, then this part is different network. This part is different network. And this part is different network. And this part also different network. But suppose we have some design like this. Router 1, router 2, router 3. We have router 4 here. We have router 5 here. We have router 6 here. And these 4 routers are in the same network. Means again, handling different network. This side they have different network. This side they have different network. This router also handling different network. They have multiple network. But this 4 router indirectly connected via one switch. So centrally we need to manage one network. All 4 router connected each other. In this case, what? Remember yesterday last few section, EIGRP and neighborship concept. Same way here we have neighborship. And what happened? It will share the network to each other. Let's say we have this some message. And this message from here router 1 traveling to router 2 also, traveling to router 3 also, traveling to router 4 also. Right? And all are in the same network. So what? All are become neighbor to each other. In background, what is the possible problem? Now try to understand properly. Suppose router 1 add one new network. So also remember this is dynamic routing, update will automatically. If static routing, then what? Every router will need to do manually. Here automatically. So router 1 sending update to the router 2 as a neighbor, router 3 as a neighbor, and router 4 as a neighbor. Understand? But now what is the extra things? According router number 2, they receive the update from router 1. According router number 3, they receive the update from router 1. And according router number 4 also, they receive update from router 1. But this all router also have other neighbor. So what router 2 assuming here? That update coming from 1, let me inform my neighbor. Router 3 assuming, okay, update from router 1, let me inform my neighbor. And router 4 also getting update from router 1. So they assuming, okay, let me update my neighbor. And this whole packet, what I draw later, that are extra. Otherwise, from the one side, when router 1 informing to each other, all have the idea. But in background, this is the problem, which is still available in the EIGRP. What we discussed yesterday, in that this problem still there. But again, more better way you learn in CCNB for EIGRP. Right now, what I want to say, that whenever there is a multiple neighborship concept, not the multiple area concept done, we discussed differently. In one area, multiple router possible, multiple network possible. But when I talk about multiple neighborship, that means only one network and all are each other neighbor. So whenever there is a multiple neighborship concept, then this kind of extra packet wasting the bandwidth of that network. One update is okay, we require, but other update unnecessary. So for that solution, we have DR-BDR concept. In DR-BDR, what? One DR means designated router. One router will get some designation. You can say right now you all are same as a classroom, you are students. But think as a school time or college time. From the classroom, anyone decide as a monitor. And in the absence of main trainer or teacher, whatever, the monitor will take care. For any other extra process, something they want to share, some other announcement, then monitor will handle. Trainer or teacher no need to tell one by one everyone. Right now we have WhatsApp group. I can directly tell. Again, I don't need to tell one by one. One message everyone know. Getting my point? So that same logic here for the OSPF. That if there are multiple neighbor, this concept. If there are multiple neighbor, so from these four router, anyone will get as a DR. Will decide as a DR. You can say monitor. And only that will share the update. Not everyone. Getting it? So now what happened? You can see here in this. Let me take a different color. Let's say again, I just configure new network in router 1. And suppose according the logic or whatever, let's say R1 is only DR. Then what? It will update R2, it will update R3, it will update R4. And this will not extend the update now. Because they already got the idea that I get the update from DR. I got the update from main classroom monitor. So it is not my responsibility to share other. It will monitor do. I will just receive my update. And what? Only 3 packet. Suppose let's say R1 is the DR, but update is here. R2 change something. Then what? R2 inform to DR and DR inform to other. Even let's say other student have new update, it will not share directly. It will inform monitor, monitor inform other. Same logic here. Easy? DR means what? Designated router. So from the all same router, one will become some designated. And only it will share the update. Okay? But suppose we have again multiple router number 5, router number 6. And in that, by chance, let's say there are some problem in router 1. Means that kind of situation where let's say actually there are some new announcement or new management want to do in the classroom, but monitor itself absent. Then again what? Trainer need to do manually because monitor not available. Same here. If let's say main monitor not available, then for the backup we have BDR, backup designated router. So this is called DR BDR concept. Getting it? So whenever we have multiple neighborship concept where chances to share lots of extra packets, or you can say updates. There we require DR. And for backup, we'll keep BDR. This is I explained in normal as a, you can say terminology, definition, concept. This same thing you can talk in the interview if someone asks what is DR, BDR. But if they ask more explanation, then this is the simple scenario which I explained with the multiple neighbors. Anyone have question, confusion, doubt, you can ask. No? Online people, is it clear? Samir Yusuf, Sarve Sakti. Classroom people, any confusion? So here we discuss the area concept. We discuss the DR/BDR concept. Third point we have for better routing, that is route types. Again, there is only OSPF we are discussing right now, but inside the OSPF also, there are lots of different types of routes OSPF have. Okay. That is because of what area concept. In the EIRP, what we have different AS number, no communication. But here, different area still communication. Same area also have communication. So there is a route types. OSPF will automatically, not automatically, but let's say smart way. They able to detect that it is the my same area routes or it is come from different branch, different area. Getting it? So let's say if we are receiving routes from same area, then it's known as a intra area routes and indicating with O. Like RIP we have R, EIRP we have D for dual algorithm, static we have S. Same way, this will indicate with O. So normal OSPF routes you can say, or the routes which is coming from the same area. Same logic, but in opposite way. Let's say receiving routes from different area. Then it's known as a inter area. Like we have international, means what? From different country. Same way inter area, from different area. Indicating with OIA. So previously what? One protocol, so whatever different kind of routes, we are having the one simple indication. But here we have different indication because different route types. Okay. One more we have, let's say receiving routes from different protocol that you will learn in CCNP. Let's say one side you are running REAP or EIRP and one side you have OSPF. Means in one company, branch 1 running the REAP and branch 2 running the EIRP, or let's say branch 2 running the OSPF. And I want they can communicate. So later, as an advance, we have that option that you can convert the route types. Like we have Google Translate, convert the language. So after that, you will find this third option. Receiving route from the different protocol, then it's known as a simple external routes. Remember, coming from the different area is not an external route, it's an inter area. That's why I give the simple example international. Coming from different city, different country, sorry. Getting it? So same way, within a OSPF only, but different area, then inter area. But not from the OSPF, coming from different protocol. Then only it's known as a external routes. And that will indicate with OE. And in that also we have option like OE1 and OE2. We have two different options. OSPF external. So any confusion in this? Everyone, is it clear? So first we understand area concept, then DR-BDR concept for the decreasing the extra update packet. And we have different kind of communication, then different kind of routes. And if different kind of routes and different topology, then we have router types. Route means what? Path. And router, what we have as a physical device. So let's say if router is part of only area 0, then it's known as a backbone router. Backbone area, backbone router. Then let's say if router is a part of only one area, except area 0, then it's known as a internal router. Let's say we have branch 1, inside that we have 5 routers. From that, let's say router number 1, 2, 3, 4 only connected internally, and router number 5 connected to internet, or router number 5 connected to HO. So router 5 is known as a different category, but 1, 2, 3, 4 router is what? Internal router. You can see here in this topology. These all are what? Internal router. While this router is what? Responsible to communicate internal also, external also. Getting it? Same way here, whatever we have router, that is connected to branch 1 also and part of area 0 also. But not only area 0. Getting it? So same way, different location, we have different name. We have here multiple this kind of things. So what? At the end of the day, we get entire proper topology structure. And whatever better option we have, that way we are able to take more smarter decision. Like yesterday we discussed metric and AD value. In there mostly what we are discussing? Speed, time, distance, right? But OSPF in background also analyze the topology and create a database. So according that, it will take more better decision. That's why it is a link state. According the link state, they will take a decision. Not only speed. Metric, they will count from the speed. But still, best part, they decide, then they have entire database and everything. So these all things comes under one database. So if the router is part of only one area, except the area 0, then it's known as a internal router. And only one area, but area 0, then backbone router. If router is part of two different areas, where one is area 0 and one another, then it's known as a area border router. In short, ABR. Sometime you will get question, what is ABR? What is area border router? So here, this is connected to area 0 also, and also connected different area, then it's become area border router. This all are what? Internal router. This all are what? Backbone router. This again become ABR. Everyone able to understand? So SPF also given the different location name, different routes name. And that's why they able to create entire proper database, and then it will take better decision. Getting it? And last, if router is a part of not two different area, but two different protocol. Like I told you, in the CCNP level, you will learn that one side different protocol, one side different protocol. Where one is OSPF and one another protocol. Then it's known as a autonomous system border router. Two different autonomous systems, they are able to connect. That is what ASBR. So these four types of router, then 3-4 types of routes. You need to remember when we talk about multiple network. And when we talk about single network, then DRBDR concept. When we talk about multiple networks, then different routes, different router, and according that different area. So total these four concepts we need to understand. So now you will get the idea how OSPF is better and why we have this protocol as a main core, as a beginner. Any confusion if you have, you can ask. Anyone? Clear? Okay. So now let's do the practical. We'll open the packet tracer. Router number 1, 2, 3, 4. Same sequence I'm taking, which I explained. For connecting this, one switch, and then let's connect. Tell me guys, switch and router, which cable? Straight cable. Second number, second number, third number, fourth number. So here, what we'll do, all are in the one network, single network. So that one network will take here, but for easy to understand, I will configure one loopback on all router. Plus, I will configure one local network also. That means what? Understand. In the router 1, let's say local network, we have 192.168.1.0. Same way in router 2, we have 192.168.2.0 local network. In router 3, I will take 192.168.3.0. And in the 4, 4.0. And this all four router connected together, that network I'm going to take 172.16. We have all four router connected together, but we can't take 1, 2, 3, 4. Maximum 255. Okay. So you can take anything. I'm keeping simple 0. Okay. Or if 0, let's say you're confused, it is less 16 or 24. So I'm taking, let's say 100. Generally, I'm taking as a router number 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. But here we have 4 router together. So I'm taking just another common number. So here 100.1 IP, 100.2 IP, 100.3, 100.4. And in every router, I will configure fast Ethernet, which is going to connect local network. And also in each router, I will configure loopback. So 10.0.11, 10.022, 10.033, and 10.044. Now it's a loopback, so what? Only single IP will use /32. If backside people not able to see, now see properly. This is we are going to configure. This is our topology. Okay, and central network is this. So let's configure in Notepad and then copy paste. If you don't want messy, then you can use this simple R1, R2, okay. So let's take a Notepad. Normally what? Yes or no? Then enable, configure terminal, hostname R1, interface. First, then no worry, first. Okay. Let's say we'll take 0, 0. I think just a second. We don't have fast, we'll take gigabit. All are gigabit, right? If I try to connect new cable, yeah, all are gigabit. So let's say what we'll do. We'll arrange our topology that all local interface is part of gigabit 01. And this connection right now, what we have, that is 0, 0. Getting it? This side also, let's say local network, employee network connected on gigabit 01. This side also same. So interface gigabit 01. IP address 192.168.1 dot router number 1 and no shutdown. Then one loopback. Interface loopback 1. IP address 10.0.1.1. It's a single point IP, so all 255. And then we have one network for centralized communication. 172.16.100 and 1. This is 0, 0. No, this is not 0. This is here logically I'm talking. Gigabit 0 is this. 101, 102 already I told you. 100.1, 100.2. This centralized network is 100 network. And router 1 also connected local employee, PC, everything, that PC network. Not able to understand? I will take the PC. Now daily we are not going to configure PC. Okay, you are not going to become desktop support engineer. That employee have some task, internet disconnect, lose connection, create a hardware. That is only for first 2-3 days I taken. Main your task is what? Network connectivity, routing and everything. So here just assume that here router 1 connected to local employee network. That employee network is this. And router connection, that is this. I already told you, and while creating tuple also I'm keep talking. Just focus properly. Okay. Other people, anyone confusion, then ask. 0/1, that I'm talking as a employee network. And 0/0, that is connected to switch and other router. And loop back for testing purpose. Copy this, go to router 1, CLI, full screen, and paste. Anyone here still have a doubt in copy paste? Then I can type manually. Okay, there is no issue. It will just take 5 minutes extra. But if you understand with the copy paste, so only one time you need to write command in Notepad, then what? Do the appropriate changes. Entire command, no need to type. So I am doing from the Notepad. Now understand, according router to local employee network is this. Loopback number 2, loopback IP is this. Connected with this same interface and 100.2. Host name R2. Yes, good. Copy router 2, CLI, host name. Then host name R3, local network 33, loopback number 3, loopback IP 10.0.33, disconnected to other router 100.3. R3 done. CLI, full screen, and paste. Then R4. Local employee network is 4 series, 4.4 router IP. Testing purpose loopback number 4 having IP 4.4 means 10.0.44. And this network connected to other router with 100 network 4 number IP. Open the router 4, CLI, full screen, paste. Okay. So if any confusion copy paste, then what? I need to write this command 4 times separately, manually. While here I just change that IP address, rest of command as it is. Now let's configure the OSPF. Router 1. And here let's say command we have that same kind of format router. Previously we have RIP, then we have EIGRP, same we have OSPF. Now understand, as I told you, OSPF is a smart protocol and also maintaining the database. With that, also remember that in OSPF, we are able to run multiple different separate processes. Let's say in my router, sorry, in my computer, I have multiple different Excel. So I can open multiple different Excel together. Yes. But what? It all are open in the different tab, different windows. But one Excel software can able to manage multiple Excel together. But think as a video. You have VLC media player or MX player, whatever. And you want to see 2 different video together. Possible? Think and tell me. In one video software, can you run 2 different video together? No. One MX player, one VLC, that is different thing. For Excel, I'm not saying like we have 2 different software for Excel. One Excel, multiple Excel sheet open, but one VLC, multiple video open? No. So same logic here. Other protocol, only one process. While OSPF also have an option that you can run multiple process. And here what I'm going to specify number, that is a process number, that is not an area. See, router OSPF, then I need to type a number, but that is what? Process number. This process is what? Just for keeping different process separate. Any number you can take. There are no issues. It is not part of a routing or networking. It is just locally that in this router, which number process you want to use for OSP. Getting my point? But don't confuse with the area number. So I'm explaining. Otherwise, as a process, there are no any extra explanation. It is just a process. But OSPF have option that you can run multiple process. So any number you need to give. But that number, again repeating, not effect on the routing, not in the networking, nothing. It is just for local process running. So I'm giving, let's say 5 number, I can give 10 number, I can give only 1, whatever. Simply it is better that you can go in sequence. So router OSPF 1. This 1 is not an area. Okay. Then what? We have network command. So network. Which network we have? 172.16.100. Network, okay? Not 1, 2, 3, 4 IP. Only 0 as a network. And then what we have? Wildcard mask. Okay? Only RIP, I told you, classless, class full, different version. But from the EIGRP, already I told you that all are classless. OSPF, 100% classless. No class full concept. In EIGRP also we have partiality. That if classful network, don't mention the subnet mask, wildcard mask. But if classless network, mention. So EIGRP supporting both. But OSPF focusing on properly real scenario that no one using full network. Only limited device, limited IP, small network. So OSPF directly focusing on classless. That whatever network you are using, I also want subnet mask, wildcard mask. So again, whenever you configure IP address and everything, we have subnet mask concept. Whenever you advertise the routes, then wildcard mask. Like yesterday in EIGRP also what I do, 00255 like that. Same here. If it is subnet mask, then I can do this way. But wildcard mask, what I told you, reverse, opposite. And here you need to specify area. That this network you want to keep in which group, which branch, which area. This is not the area. So for this OSPF, one extra word, that area and area number. Let's say I want to keep in area 0. So this is your OSPF command. Understand, see, analyze, and then tell me if any doubt. Otherwise, I will go forward. Just see that both command again, whatever I explain. Any doubt, then ask me. Anyone, any doubt? Clear? Okay. In the RIP, we only have router RIP command. No any grouping concept, no any dividation. All can communicate together. In EIGRP, we have grouping concept known as a AS number. So we have command router, EIGRP, and AS number. While in OSPF, we have area concept, but also with multiple process. So we have here we have command router, OSPF, and number, that is process number. And inside that, while you advertising network, on that time you need to specify area. Everyone clear? Okay. So what other network we have? 192.168.1.0 local network and loopback. All 0 because all 255. Exit. So now same thing we require in router 2. router OSPF 1, network 192.168.2.0, network directly different area not communicate, all in the same area. Via switch I can't connect different branch. These all are connected via switch. That means in same area. First understand same area, then we'll go forward. What you are talking? Whatever. That is no matter. I told you. You can change different process ID also. If you want, I will configure here third, here fourth. No issue. Process ID is just for local process. Just run the OSPF in the route. Okay. So network, we have another loop back, let's say 2 all 0. And another network we have exactly branch centralized connected network router 2, but network here and exit. Now here also you will find notification, but little slow. If you remember yesterday concept EIGRP, whenever I just press enter the command, notification is there. Here also you find, but slowly. And what you find? OSPF notification level 5 ADG adjacency neighborship adjacency is CHG change. Adjacency change means in short neighborship change. So notification level is what? Neighborship change notification. But in there what it is telling? Process number 1 neighbor 10.0.11. That is what? Router 1 on this interface from loading to full. Loading done. In EIGRP, we directly find simple notification that neighborship up. New neighbor connected. But here we have multiple detail because we have process ID also and we have lots of other things we'll discuss step by step. There is a router ID concept also which I not cover right now because I don't want to give all things together. You will confuse. So I only explain 4 concepts right now, which is compulsory minimum requirement that I explained. There are 2 more concepts. One is the router ID and one is the neighbor state. That we'll discuss. Right now, in this, any confusion, doubt? What is the command and what is this notification? Clear, everyone? So let's go to the router 3. And here I will keep different process ID. There are no issue. But area should be matched. Communication done with area number. Router OSPF 1. Instead of router 3, let's say 3. Then network 172.16.100.0 and just wait. Okay, working. Router 3 become neighbor with router 1 also and become router neighbor 2 also with the process number 3 via same interface and same status loading to full done. So it will work. Process ID doesn't matter. But if I keep area in different number, then it will create issue. Okay. So now another network, what we have? Local network. Sorry, not 100. It's a router 3, third local network. And area 0. If you want to write short, this also work this way. Network, loopback 3, wildcard mask, area 0. Okay. So router 3 also configure and that also become neighbor with other. So now let me show you here some points and then I will configure router 4 by explaining other neighbor status. So first of all thing, how I can see the routes. So IP route. So what you find? Only O, not OIA, because all are same area. Hmm. Everyone able to see? I am in the router number 3 and I am receiving router 1 loopback with the O, router 2 loopback with the O, while router 3 loopback is self only. So it's a C connected. 100 network also connected, and in that local IP is what? 100.3. Any confusion? No. You can see this topology. According router 3, this network directly connected, this network directly connected. So what we are receiving via OSPF? Not this. This also directly connected. So I will get router 2 local network and loopback, router 1 local network and loopback. These both should be here. So now see properly, is anything missing? Local network missing. Why? 1 and 2 we configure. Is there any mistake? Network, network keyword and everything. You also configure the IP address. No shutdown count also there. Tell me guys. Hmm? If I ping, it will work or not? No, in this router 1, I configure this IP address on the 01. In the interface, gigabit 0. You can say, let's say, take a switch here. Then there is a multiple PC. And that connected here gigabit 0/1. And that router IP 1.1. We configure that. Then what is the reason? This kind of things is your task. Remember, it's not like directly when you go to the office and they will say, okay, you come new admin, you can configure new topology according you. I told you previously also, you are going to do job, their topology already running. You just need to manage that. So let's say this is your running topology. And there is a network also configured in router 1. Same topology assume. Then what you can check? Command already we see. Command is right. Then what second thing you can check? Tell me. Not as a topology, normal. What other command we have in the show? Different show command will give you the help. So running config. No, that is not a good choice because as a real scenario, there are lots of configuration. How many things you check? Like we checking routes, so IP routes, we can check. First of all, so IP routes. Okay, if not, you not find here, then what? So IP interface brief. What you find here? See properly and tell me. IP is there. No shutdown command also we run. Hmm? Not a summary for what? It's not a EIGRP. And not a summary also for what? Classless IP. While 192 is a classful IP. Even 172.16 is visible. See properly what is there. Either see the topology, either see this command output and tell me. There are something. Protocol down. What is that meaning? Different protocol. We are running only OSPF. Two, three times I told you some keyword, if anyone remember. When I run the no shutdown command, how many notification I will get? If you remember basic things. Two notification. What is that? One is change status up and down. Second things, line protocol. It is talking about that line protocol, not the our OSPF EIGRP protocol. Remember. So when I run the command no shutdown, interface status up. Okay. When this will be up, if connection start, communication start. Right now, again, simply understand. Let's say you have computer at your home, not laptop, computer. And you press the power button, computer started. But you don't have display, keyboard, mouse. Still computer able to start? Yes. But you can't do any work. CPU will start, process and everything start. Even if there is a LAN cable, you will find that also blinking, internet also connected, everything started. But you can't do any management without keyboard, mouse and display. Same thing here. Router is there. You configure IP, no shutdown command, interface up. But there are no connection. And that's why it is not safe. Getting it? As a router, other process started, but actually the required process for that network, that is not started. That will start when actually there is a connection. As a command, we don't have any problem. That's why intentionally, even you are asking doubt, I not connect the switch. I want to show this thing. Otherwise, instead of drawing this line, I can take a switch. Now let me do that. And before that, again, I will show you that it's not a time issue. Like in RIP, EIGRP, you have timing concept. Again, I will run the command. Still no network for 192.168. And whenever I just connect the switch as a real network, switch and router, straight cable, 0101. Now see the router one status first of all. You will find the notification. Line protocol up down, line protocol interface is up. And because of that, go to the router 3 and run the routing table again. I find that automatically. So this is your troubleshooting process also together I am giving. Only configuration is not your job. Troubleshooting is your job. Remember. Online people, anyone have confusion, ask me. Otherwise, OSPF command running, okay? We getting the loop back, but that is the network connectivity issue. So this how you will get the idea. What I told you in the beginning also, that by remaining in this screen, whatever different notification, if you are able to analyze, that means you are able to become good network engineer, or you can say network administrator. If you're not able to do this kind of smart level decision, let's say you depend on the physical thing. Until you not see the physical router and cable and everything, you're not able to understand the topology. Then you are only remain in the system desktop support kind of engineer. You're not able to become network administrator until you're not able to understand entire topology. Getting it? Any confusion, then ask. Same thing, I'm not getting router to local network, but I hope you understand. Same thing. If router to local network started, Check the router 3. Second, no need to wait. Okay, I'm getting router to local network. Anyone still want to ask? Then tell me. Everyone clear this point? So same thing now. I will not again attach this router 3 switch router 4. Okay, I don't want to make it messy. But with the 1 and 2 example, you are able to understand. 3 and 4, you don't need to receive. If I connect the switch, you start receiving that. So now let's focus on the missing point, that is neighbor state. So in the router EIGRP and OSPF both, we have one more command for troubleshooting. That is show IP OSPF neighborship. So here we'll check the idea that okay, command is right, but if both side IP is same, they both become neighbor or not, then you can see this neighbor state. Neighbor, not neighborship, only neighbor. Command is only neighbor. So what you will find, router 1 is the neighbor with 2 and 3. Same way, go to router 2. So IP OSPF neighbor. So router 2 is neighbor with 1 and 3. And router 3. So IP OSPF neighbor. So 3 is neighbor with 1 and 2. We not configure 4 till now, you know that. And same command you can run for EIGRP also. Let's say so IP EIGRP neighbor. But not in the RIP because RIP don't have neighborship. So see here, you can see the state. According router 3, it is telling what? That router 3, you are the neighbor with router 1. And that state is what? DR. It is a neighbor state, remember. Not your state. It is not the state of router 3. It is the state of router 1. That you are neighbor with router 1 and that router 1 is the DR. You are neighbor with router 2 and that router 2 is the BDR. Getting it? That means router 3 is nothing. It is other, regular. Getting my point? Let's say that classroom example, there is a 30 student. So this is the first monitor, this is the backup monitor, and these all are other student. Same way again, come back to router 1. What you will find? That router 1 neighbor with router 2. 2 is the BDR. And router 3 is what? Other. DR, other. It is not the proper designated router, it is a other DR. Getting it? Sometimes I notice people also pronounce like brother. That is your choice. Okay? Like brother, it's brother. Whatever. Otherwise, it is a DR other. Same thing you can check in router 2 again. So according router 2, router 1 is the DR. Everywhere will find same result. According the neighbor. It's not like router 3 telling router 2 is the DR and router 2 telling router 1 is DR. No, in all router what you find? Router 1 is DR. And router 2 is BDR and router 3 is other. So you can see router 2 also telling what? Router 1 is the DR and 3 is the other. So sometime what? Sometime interview will ask the question, how I can see the self status? What is me? What is router 2? So indirectly here you can get the identify logically that one is DR, one is other. That means I am BDR. Here you can say the router 1 is BDR, one is other. That means I am DR. And according router 3, 1 BDR, 1 DR. That means I am no one, I am other. But that is what? That is not the right answer. That by running this command, you can see the self status. It is showing neighbor status. So where you find the self status, you can see the interface or OSPF process things. Okay. Let's say what? So IP OSPF protocol. Sorry. So IP protocol only. So what you find here? OSPF 3 running. Router ID. Number of area. Only one. Normal area. Then what you find? This all network you are advertising. And this is your gateway. And you can see distance. What is that? AD value, administrative distance. 110. Here question might not working. Just a second. See here. You can check the process, not as a protocol, just as a process that run network, whatever you run. Interface, neighbor, and database. So here you can see database. So in the database, what you find? Two different database. One is this, second is another thing. That is showing you link state. Link state means what? For that OSPF process, DR, BDR, and everything here. And it is telling that who is sharing all the detail. And only do this, then you will find lots of. So IP OSPF. Then you will find lots of things. Routing process is OSPF 3. Support this thing, support LSA. Lots of things is here. AS number, AS LSA, backbone, number of interface, how many interface you are running. So we have lots of things here. Okay, that's why what I told you step by step, one point. So now let's understand this in deeper way. Actually, what I show you explain here, DR, BDR, and other, that is what? That is the router status, that who is the designated router. It is not the neighbor state. Neighbor state is here, full. If you see the notification, what it is saying? From loading to full. And that full is what? Right now, neighbor status. This is the router status, not the neighborship. Neighbor router ID, neighbor router status, and neighborship status. Able to understand everyone? What is my neighbor status and what is our neighborship status? Both are different. Okay. So let's understand properly neighborship status. So we need to remember 7 to 8 different steps. Now try to understand in sequence. Let's say when I create this topology. So what is the first step we done? We configure IP address everywhere, and wherever we require, we give the no shutdown command. And that is called what? Link of the topology. On that time, there is no role of OSPF because we can run anything. EIGRP also, RIP also, by just taking the topology for OSPF and configuring the IP. Router not assume that it is created for OSPF. But after that, let's say you run the command on the router 1 for OSPF. Then what? In background, router 1 start looking for neighborship. If they connected to switch or whatever the network, and they start sending hello message. Like what if I want to talk with someone, I can open the WhatsApp or text message and I can see, is there anyone online from my friend? If I find someone online status, I will send hi. Getting it? Same way, in the one router, if I run the OSPF command, in background, they start looking for neighbor. And in that time, just it is approaching to look for the neighbor. Neighborship not done. And it is also not necessary that when router 1 looking for other neighbor, other router compulsory run the OSPF. What I'm talking guys, step by step, remember the sequence. When I just configure OSPF on the first router, this whole thing remaining. Right now, everywhere we have. But on the first time when I configure, on that time what? You will find neighborship status down. Simple. No neighborship. Getting it? But as a router 1, they try to initialize the neighborship process. Okay. Then what? Let's say router 1 already running the OSPF command and I also run the OSPF command in router 2. So what happened? Router 2 also start looking for neighbor. And then router 2 message received by router 1 because all are connected in the same network. Then what? Then router 1 get the pop-up that yeah, there are someone who want to talk with me. So that is what? Initialization. On that time, neighborship status is what? Initialization. That neighborship initialize started. Not the done. Just process started. And then what? After that, both are checking each other condition. Neighborship condition. What is that? Same area, same network. There should be some process ID. There should be some router ID. And this whole thing it will check. And if it is matching, then what? They are ready to become neighbor. After that, it will check that okay, we are only two in our area, or is there any other member available? Means understand again, they not exchange any update. Right now, what? I'm talking that both are sending hello, hi message to each other. Both are able to become neighbor, but not become neighbor. Getting my point? So once they find, okay, we are able to become neighbor, then it also check that is there any other interested to become neighbor or right now only we two. If there is only they two, then what? They will do DR-BDR process. And then it will start exchanging the update and then full neighborship. In the same step, let's say these two are able to become neighbor, same point, and there are other also available. That means what? Other someone may be DR or BDR. Then these two router will not do DR-BDR process already selected. They just keep that status that yeah, we are able to become neighbor, but will not exchange anything. We'll update to our DR and DR will tell you. So these two different processes there. Starting few step is same. Neighborship down, waiting for hello packet, try to attempting for neighborship, initialize the state. Both are matching the condition. Condition is same, then able to become neighbor. Till that, for all router, same process. But after that, that is what middle point. After that, router will check two things. If there are other neighbor already available and there is a DR-BDR already selected, then it will not extend the update. It will just become neighbor, but no any changes. And if in that network, there are no other member, then they will decide who become DR, who become BDR, and then start exchanging the update. So for this point, I can show you that all neighborship state name and everything. Let me take you to the document. See here. This is after the condition matching. At start, they will try to send each other database detail, database description. Both R1 send database detail to R2, R2 send to R1. Database detail means here what? Area detail, number of network detail and everything. What is you have, what you want. And whatever is missing to each other, it will share to each other. That is what? Loading. You know that right now all devices started fast. Otherwise, previously we are getting that loading, buffering kind of round. So here in background, it will extend the update. Okay, which is you can see LSU, link state update. Both are sending each other an LSA, link state advertisement. And then if all updates transfer to each other, then it will say neighborship full. And that is what previous status is what loading. And that's why you see the notification neighborship loading to full. Getting it? See here again notification if anyone remember. From loading to full. Loading done. That is what indirectly enable process. And that's why right now you see the full status. This is the beginning process. By default neighborship down, then you will find init. After that, two-way. Two-way means what? Both are able to become neighbor. Both are matching the condition. Two-way communication possible. So if there is a DR, BDR already in the network, neighborship remain two-way. It will not exchange the update. But if there is no DR, BDR, then it will start exchanging update and you will find loading to full. Getting it? Now let me show you this with router number 4. That's why intentionally I not configure router 4. Now see. Now I'm configuring after multiple times, multiple minutes. Already in this network DR, BDR selected. So what you find? Router 4 is not going to become full neighbor with router 3. Only neighbor with 1 and 2. Because they require update to exchange. Router 4 not going to exchange with router 3. Let me show you. Router, OSPF, process ID, anything. Okay, that doesn't matter. As I told you. Network, what we have? Everywhere we have same category network, right? You know that this you will put entry or not, it is not going to share right now. And look back. Otherwise, just wait for the neighborship status. It will disturb in between. What you find? Notification is there, but only for 1 and 2, not for 3. So, because 1 DR, 1 BDR, all are other. And that's why what? Router 4 only responsible to share update with the main DR or backup DR, not with the other. So even there is a router 3 in the same network, but you will not find status loading to full for router 3. Router 4 only neighbor with 1 and 2. So let's see the neighbor status. So IP, OSPF, neighbor. Did you find the two-way? Router 4, neighbor with router 1, DR. Neighbor with router 2, that is BDR. And neighbor with router 3. But you will not find 3 notification because not a full neighborship. Otherwise, you find the notification. But no notification, it is also not meaning that no neighbor. Neighborship is there. You can see router 4 become neighbor with router 3. But not the full detail. Not the full neighborship. It is only two-way. It is keeping in background that we are able to talk. But we will not talk because monitor and trainer is there. Just wait, trainer go outside, we'll start talk. Getting it? Same as a real scenario. If router DR is down, BDR will take over the whole things. And then also they will select one more backup for him. Until this will not on. If this will on, this will become BDR. Getting it? Any confusion? This both again will do the discussion. Now no one in classroom. We are the trainer. We can do anything. Getting my point? Yes, we can do that by specifying priority. Right now, all thing running as a default process. Getting it? What is default process? So whenever you start OSPF, it will wait for 40 seconds. In background, there is a mechanism. As a dynamic routing protocol, there is lots of algorithm, automation things. So there is a 40-second rules. Whenever you configure router 1, it will wait for the 40 seconds. Within 40 seconds, no any competitor, it will become DR. But let's say you copy paste 4 separate notepad all command and start all together within 40 seconds. Then it will do the election process, voting system. And in that, priority will decide who is going to become DR. Okay. So that you will get idea once I will explain the router ID. Today only, but right now, till now, whatever I explained, that is clear. Everyone? Okay. So one point is remaining, router ID. So understand, again, as a RIP, there are no neighbors RIP. Anyone running the RIP, they will share the update. There are no any AS number, no any area number, nothing. So we not require router ID concept there, and that's why I not explain. But when it's come to the advanced protocol like OSPF or let's say EIGRP also, in background, they are making a neighborship. So if there is a neighborship, they need to know each other. So how they know each other? By ID. Router number, router ID. Like in one flat or one building or one society, multiple different house is there. So if let's say there is no any home number, house number, like previously village time, then what happened? They are remembering that house with that head name, that person house or that person house. In short, at least we require something for identification. That is here, router identification known as a router ID. Getting my point, everyone? So OSPF, EIGRP, Advanced Routing Protocol have a one concept that is called router ID for router identification. Now, in that we have three different options. One option is what? You can manually assign the name. Like we assign the IP address on the interface. Same we can assign the name, ID for the OSPF. That is called what? Manually configure. Manually decide the router ID. But here we not do that. We not run any command for the router ID. Then what? If there are no any manual configuration, then router try to make a router ID automatically. How? From the configured IP address. Right now, if you notice, all are actually neighbor with this network. But did you find this IP in the neighborship? No. What is the neighborship status? Neighbor with 10.1, neighbor with 10.2. While actually that is not neighbor. Neighbor is 101, 102, 102, 103 neighbor, 100 to 104 neighbor, right? But in the neighborship, you not find that IP because it is a ID. It is not the IP or network. You can see neighbor ID. So what I'm telling guys again, understand. Total we have three process. First is what you can configure manually. If no manually, then router is looking for logical interface address. That is what? Loopback. And right now you know that neighbor ID taken from the loopback address. 10.1, 10.2 is what? Loopback address. But suppose in any case, we only configure physical network, no any loopback. Then second process also fail. No manual, no loopback. Then it will take IP from physical interface. So if I attach here router number 5 and I will configure the OSPF, I will configure the physical address, but I will not keep the loopback. Then you will find that router ID taken from that physical IP. Getting it? So right now, router ID selected from what? Loopback address. Now one more real scenario thing. There are also possible that we have multiple loopback. Loopback is what? Interface only. Interface loopback 0, interface loopback 1, whatever you can do. Or also let's say no loopback, then we have multiple physical interface. You can see here gigabit 01, gigabit 00. So if we have multiple same category interface, then it will focus on the highest IP. Whatever the highest configure IP address, that is going to become router ID. Getting my point? So suppose I take here, let's say router number 5. And in router number 5, yes or no? क्लास स्टॉप करना पड़ेगा कि चालू में? Okay. Guys, focus here. Okay. Not that. Okay. So enable configure terminal. And then here, if you want to give host name, then okay. Otherwise, it's just for experiment. Here I will configure multiple loopback. Okay, not only one. So let's say I'm configure interface loopback 5 as a regular sequence IP address 10.0.55 and wildcard mask subnet. Sorry, here subnet mask and enter. It's a loopback, so not shutdown, not required. And then I also configure, let's say interface loopback 55. IP address 10.0.55.55. And then I configure the physical interface. 00. One 172.16.105. And then interface, sorry, OSPF now directly. Network, we have one physical network. I not even advertise loopback. It's not like if we advertise then only. It should be configure on the router. You want to advertise in OSPF or not, that is your choice, but it should be there in the router. So here what happened? This network I advertise, so it is able to become neighbor. If you check from the router one side notification, what you find? It is not using 10.0.55, but it is using 55. So if there is a multiple loopback, then what? Highest IP. Not the highest loopback number. Also remember, sometimes student confuse. Highest loopback IP address, not the highest loopback number. What I mean to say? Let's say I have interface loopback 5 with the IP address 10.0.55. Then I have interface loopback 55, that is 10.0.55. And suppose I have interface loopback 2, but IP is 10.0.200.200. So it will check the highest IP, not the highest loopback number. Sometimes student confuse that highest loopback IP. Then what? Highest loopback IP. Not that way. Otherwise, You can just twist the little grammar. Highest IP address of loopback. That way, it's become easy. First, focus in what? IP address, not the loopback number. So highest IP address of any loopback. So here router ID going to become this. Getting it? And same way, suppose we don't have loopback, then one is, let's say, fast Ethernet 00, one is, let's say, gigabit 00, or one is, let's say, gigabit 1001, whatever. Then also what? Highest IP. But first priority, loopback interface, logical interface. If no logical loopback interface, then only physical interface. So total we have three different terminology. First, manually, no manually, then loopback, no loopback, then physical. But in all case, highest. What you find here? Router 5 become DR. If you notice. Because of highest things. Getting it? Router 5 become DR, router 2 remaining as a BDR, and router 1, 3, 4 become other. So any confusion, if you have, you can ask. Hmm? Hmm? Other people? For this, you want to talk anything? That same logic, when I configure router 3 and 4 also, then why it is not become DR, router 1 remain DR, and now router 5 is become DR. So remember here, in packet tracer, if you not do anything, after few time, you know that all thing log out. If you notice here, I press enter and then coming back, router 1 is on the sleep state. On that time, router 5 comes in the picture. That's why it's take the DR state. Nothing else. It's like what? In right time, you done the entry. So you become DR. Okay? Nothing else. Simply what? If all processes restart, then what? Again, I told you. 40-second election. And in that election, right now, router 5 is the highest. Getting it? Anyone have confusion, then ask me. When I configure actually router vacancy, router 1 is in the sleep status. Because it is a packet tracer is not issue, but it is a by default process. That if you are not using simulating and software, I'm just explaining router ID things, and router 1 going to sleep state. Log out automatically. Then I log in. Then neighborship find. So router 5 say I am the highest, I am the DR. Okay. It's like what? Normal typical politics, you can say. This is the main. All other are waiting. Okay, once this will go on, I will become main. And someone suddenly come and become main. Okay. But logic is what? That highest IP, highest router ID. Now let's say whatever the IP, but I want that router 1 only remain DR. Even let's say someone coming with the highest IP. Then I will specify the priority. Till now, I not specify the priority. Till now, again, it is what? Default decision that highest IP. Then what I will do? Go to the router 1, enable, configure terminal, and go to that physical interface where you have multiple neighbor. 00, interface, gigabit 0. And here you can say priority. IP OSPF priority. By default, it is 1. So everywhere priority 1, and that's why decision done by the highest IP. But if priority is more, then it will not going to check whatever the IP. Getting it? Let's say here I am specifying 100 number. And then what? Clear IP OSPF 1. OSPF process and then 1. Reset all process. Yes. Entire OSPF process reset. All neighborship down. You can see down, down, down. Then all neighborship again up. And in this case, two remain BDR, 3, 4, 5 other. Even router 5 have a highest ID. And who is DR, which is not visible? R1 itself. Because of this process priority. Now, this thing you don't need to actually configure as a CCNA level. This is extra, but you ask the question, so I show you. How to change priority and everything, it is just extra topic, you can say. Otherwise, we just need to understand area concept, how to run the OSPF, how they extend the neighborship, and what is the DR-BDR concept for multiple neighbor. This whole management, you require some experience. Otherwise, what in background, entire company topology change. Anyone, any confusion? No. So now, one more experiment I will do here. Let's say from this router, if you remember, intentionally, I not advertise the loopback. I only advertise the physical network and neighborship is there, but ID taken from loopback. Now, let's say I also advertise the loopback, but for showing you that other route types, what I will do, this is already there. Another network, let's say 10.0.55 with the wildcard mask. And let's say this I'm keeping in the different area, let's say 5. Okay. Now check from router 1. So IP route. And 055. What's there? Why it is not sharing? Command also right. Subnet function everything. Taking time or what? No, it's not coming. Why? Need to take this much time. Okay, let me check with the physical network. I just want to show that OIA. Interface gigabit 01, IP address 192.168.5.5. Now shut down, exit, router, OSPF1, network 192.168.5.0, wildcard mask and area 5. This new packet tracer have multi-area console issue. Not video का 3 is here. Here 5. Five shut down. 192.170.5 no shut down. Network with this. Everything is right. Let me reset from router file side. Clear IP OSPF process. Yes. No. 8.1 have OSPF issue. Let me show here. Router 1. OSPF notification. Okay. Guys, no need to wait for configuration. Okay, topology, everything is there. I just want to save that status. You can see neighborship of router 1 with router 2, router 3, router 4. Router 1 with 2, 3, and 4. Now here, this is in the different area. You can see area number 45. This is area number 31, area number 32, and area 0. So router 1 is part of area 0 also, and also ABR, area border router. Can you see some routes with the OIA? That only I just want to show the status, but OS packet tracer right now not showing. I don't know why. So if networks coming from the same OSPF, you can see 31, router 1, router 3. Okay. So it is the same network with router 1. So that network coming with the O. Now this 32. That 32 area is what? Between 2 and 3. Able to see, bracket people? This 2 and 3 connected with area 32. And that is not part of router 1. Router 1 is part of area 0, area 31, and area 41. Wherever you see the 1, that is router 1. And with area 0. So you can see 32 network you are receiving via OIA. It's a OSPF network only, but from the different area, inter area. And then 45 network also you can verify. 32 IP. 45 not coming. What it is saying? Error. Obviously, here I will not do troubleshoot. You will not able to understand. OIA concept is clear. Just tell me that. Here, I don't know why packet tracer not showing. So I just started here. It should be here. 5 number network with the OIA. I also connect, but still it's not working. You can try the same command, but I will suggest first do the same topology what I do practice. Then just try to change router number 5 model number. Maybe this router model have issue or what. Otherwise, it is a packet tracer software. Same thing. It should be available in router 1, router 4, wherever with the OIA. If it is coming from different area, then it should be OIA. Okay. So this is your OS. Any other question, doubt, if you have, you can ask. And if everyone not hungry, then we can go to 3rd floor and see the lab right now. If you want to see, otherwise tomorrow. Right now, just let me stop the recording. Any doubt? Not have, right? Everyone? No. So let me stop the recording.